welcome to the Super Dirt Week preview edition of Race Pro Weekly. In this show, we're going to take a look and get you ready for the classic at the Oswego Speedway, along with a little bit of highlights as well. So let's get things started as our own Fast Eddie caught up with a few drivers to talk about the big event.
Brett, how tough is it getting ready for a race up at Super Dirt Week at Oswego, not having any idea what the conditions are going to be like?
Well, I think that this year's race is going to be about just getting a car that you're comfortable with, a short track car. It's not going to be the kind of preparation that we've had to do to run the mile. So it's going to be a little bit different from that respect.
It's pretty easy. We don't know what's going to happen, so we just cover all the bases and bring a couple cars, a really good car and a car that's not so good, and roll the dice from there. Everybody's in the same boat.
Well, now it's going to be like going to a place like here. It's going to be a high-speed racetrack, and we just got to prepare like we're coming to here. And that's all you can really do. It's more or less a short track deal now, I think, and we'll just bring our best stuff and see what we got.
Well, the only thing we could do is prepare how we normally do for any other racetrack we go to, and we got a lot of experience with the crew I have and the support of Jake and Nancy Spraker. So I think we're just going to roll in there like we do when we go to Albany, Saratoga, or Fonda Speedway, and go out, get some practice, and make adjustments as the track changes, and try to make our best judgment and do the best we can.
It's now time for you guys to find out who we're picking for the 2016 edition for Super Dirt Week. We'll start off with Fast Eddie's picks. He's going with Jimmy Phelps in the Modifieds, Brett Hearn in the Small Blocks, Rocky Warner in the Sportsman, and Rob Yetman picking up the win in the Pro Stocks. As for me, I'm going with Super Matt Shepard in the Big Blocks, the White Knight Mark Johnson in the Small Block Modifieds, Sportsman, I'm picking the dark horse in this one, Brad Rouse, although he's not really a dark horse, and Robbie Speed to pick up the win in the Pro Stocks. So you've heard from us. Now we want to hear from you. Who are you picking to win at Super Dirt Week? Big Block Modified, 358 Modified, Sportsman, and Pro Stocks. Cast your answers, and of course, we'll read them out on our next show. Now, we take a look at last week's fan poll question, who would win the King of Dirt Sportsman Series? Well, you guys picked correctly. Connor Cleveland coming up with 55% of the vote. David Schilling coming up with 44%, which adds up to 99. I don't think some people realize you can only vote for two people here. When we come back on Race Pro Weekly, we'll head to see who won the Super Dirt Car Series event out at Fonda, and we'll get into a little bit of Super Dirt Week preview. Reputable, reliable, results. That's what you get when you call Rick and the professionals at RCT Roofing. Quality service at fair prices. RCT gets the job done, just like Nick Stone and the RCT Pro Stock. RCT Roofing, we've got you covered.
I'm Brian from 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This is my main man Tom and my other main man Tom.
You never know how much junk you've got until you move.
Point to something you wish would disappear.
Would it be possible to... It's gone!
All you have to do is point.
Where have you been all my life?
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
There's only one place in the Capital Region for you to get the full racing action. Stop down at the Bobco video booth at the track or call 518-399-0937. Bobco Racing Video, the next best thing to being there. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly, and it's time to get into a little bit of racing action. The Super Dirt Car Series at Fonda Speedway as part of Thunder on the Mohawk weekend as Mike Mahaney would take the lead down into turn number 1 and 2 in the 100-lap feature event. As cars looking to work their way down the back straightaway, we'll see if a hometown hero can pick up the win over one of the Dirt Series regulars as they barrel down into turn number 1 and 2. Of course, we see Ronnie Johnson, the 2016 champion at the Speedway, looking to make his way up early. Side-by-side battle up front between Jimmy Phelps and Mike Mahaney up off of turn number 4 as Phelps would take the lead down the back straightaway. But Mike Mahaney running strong. Of course, he has a couple of feature event wins at the Fonda Speedway in his career. He's really looking for his first Super Dirt Series win at the Honda Speedway, however, as he slides back into the lead past Phelps. The Genoa Giant, Pat Ward, Stuart Friesen, and Billy Decker all trying to make their way up into the top 5 as Matt Shepard starts to lurk behind the top 2 as Phelps drives back around the outside of the 88 of Mahaney. And now Brett Hearn going to look to get in on the front along with Jeremy Wilder up off the corner as they continue to push their way up towards the front, trying to make a challenge. Here's Hearn ducking underneath the 44 as Stuart Friesen up off of turn number 3 and 4. He'll get the pass as they make their way down by the Cow Palace. Down the back straightaway, the battle for the lead continues. Peter Britton holding his line, but Mike Mahaney tries to take advantage. He'll get the lead back as Justin Bowler has left rear trouble. And then off of the restart, here's Jeremy Wilder with a great one working to the inside lane. He'll look to go up into the top 5 as Bobby Varon goes around in between turn number 1 and 2. That brings out the caution again. Off the restart, here's Wilder going to give a little hip check, hockey style, up into turn number 3 and 4, getting by the 9S machine of Shepard as Tim Fuller starts to go closer to the front. And now Shepard looks like he has a left rear flat tire on the 9S machine, brings out the yellow, and then off on that restart, Jimmy Phelps goes back around on the outside. Here's Jeremy Wilder looking for the number 3 spot down the backstretch. The 24 machine going to work it down to the inside lane as they bring them down the front straightaway. The 19 machine going to move up into the spot past Wilder as Stuart Friesen now trying to work his way up on the outside lane of the Genoa Giant of Pat Ward. Friesen will get that spot, then go around the outside of the 24 of Wilder down into turn number 3 and 4. He grabbed that spot away as he starts to charge toward the front of the field to try to get past Mahaney and Phelps in the closing laps. Mahaney still trying to do all he can to get by the 98H machine as he rolls down the front straightaway. Timmy Fuller now going to make something happen as he works around the outside of Mike Mahaney. As Mahaney starts to fade a little bit, Fuller gets by him. Then here comes Brett Hearn working it up on the outside lane off the corner as they work their way down the backstretch. But in this one, all Jimmy Phelps as he picks up the win at the Honda Speedway on Thunder along the Mohawk weekend. Tim Fuller would finish in second, Brett Hearn would be third, Mike Mahaney fourth, and Stuart Friesen would round out the top 5. Last Thursday night was the final night of racing out at the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park with a big sportsman race coming in, the 602 Granddaddy event, and it was a doozy, that's for sure. We'll start you off with a modified non-winners race as they roll them up into turn number 1 and 2. Justin Bowler makes contact with the 34 of Jim Nagel. Brian Nelson nowhere to go, and that would end Nagel's night. Jimmy Becker goes wire to wire to pick up the win. Bobby Vetter coming home with a strong second as Bowler will recover for third in that one, and Becker, a very happy man, rolling the car out on the high side for that event. To the Granddaddy 602 race is working them up into turn number 1 and 2. Brian Calabrese would be your race leader in the early going. Dave Marcachilli working on second. Rocky Warner and Jeremy Pitt side by side for the number 3 spot up off on turn number 4 as they ride for position. Tim Hartman Jr. going to dart down underneath the 16 of the Wild Child. Billy Gray down the back straightaway as they power through the corner. Now Hartman getting by Pesolano, going to go by Jeremy Pitts as well down the back stretch as Hartman looking to continue his great run so far in the end of the season runs. Meanwhile, battling for the lead, Calabrese and Marcachilli side by side until Calabrese gets into Mike Coffey. Then him and Marcachilli made contact, sending him up on the outside wall. That will put Calabrese into the pit area as we went back to green flag racing with Marcachilli up into the number 1 spot. Now as Pesolano and Billy Gray come together down the back stretch along with Jeremy Pitts, who gets into an implement tire. So we load him back up and do it again up into turn number 1 and 2. As now Derek McGrew going to ride to the inside lane. He gets into the 16 of Gray going up into turn number 2. Gray going to high-rise the wall down the backstretch, and oh boy, he wasn't happy. He was not happy at all. Off of the restart, cars trying to work their way up through the field a little bit more as the 14 of Chad Edwards going to sneak by the 27 of Derek McGrew here. And keep an eye on Edwards in this one. He was not done passing cars, that's for sure in this one. As the 7 of Dave Constantino trying to hold off the advances of the 22 of Tim Hartman Jr. down the backstretch. As Hartman continuing to work it up on the outside. Then Pesolano loses a wheel and goes around in turn number 4 as the dude wheel spins a little bit. Then off of that restart, Rocky Warner looking to take advantage as they power down into turn number 3 and 4. The Flying Squirrel puts the slide job on him up off the corner. He'd be your new race leader. The lunchbox, Chad Edwards, continuing to work it up through turn number 3 and 4, playing strong like the Buffalo Bills defense up off the corner as he would get by the 1 of Dave Marcachilli for second into turn number 3 and 4 and set his sights on Rocky Warner. Now check this out. Rich Coons goes up and over out of the park in turn number 2, drives it back around the access road and into the pit area. You had to be there to see that one. It's the only way you'd believe it. Off of that restart, though, it would be the 1J of Warner and the 14 of Edwards going to slide to the outside. Here's Marcachilli coming back on the low side, trying to make something stick, but Edwards going to slow him down by keeping his momentum, but they weren't stopping the squirrel. Rocky Warner picks up his second win in the Granddaddy 602 race. Chet Edwards would finish in second, Dave Marcachilli third, Jeremy Pitts fourth, and Tim Hartman Jr. would finish in fifth. Other winners on the night, you saw Jim Becker pick up the win in the modified non-winners race. Dennis Johnson would grab the win in the 51, Justin Pope in the Cruisers, and PJ Blue grabbing the win in the Enduro.
Will winning this race still have the prestige of winning the race at the mile?
If it's 50,000 to win, I still feel pretty good.
Probably not. I mean, you know, it's a new deal there. I think there's going to be a lot of fan interest. Hopefully they'll get a lot of cars, you know, that's the way it was supposed to be. But as far as what it's going to mean, I mean, listen, it took me 34 years to win the other race, so it meant a lot to me. If I happen to get lucky and win there, I'll be happy that I won, but, you know, we don't know. You know, I'm sure in time, if they could keep it there, it might. I'm sure it would, but this is the first race there. Other than the novelty of winning the race there, which I've never done, I really don't think it's never going to mean what it meant at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, it will be. You know, it's still, you know, our biggest race of the year, so, you know, we just got to keep it pumped up and enjoy it.
The Syracuse Mile has been such a tradition for so many years. It kind of seems weird right now not getting ready for Syracuse, and so many people I talk to refer to Super Dirt Week still as going to Syracuse. I do it myself, a lot of people do. It's strange, but you know what? In time, I think it's going to have to grow on us, and we're all going to have to figure out how to like it.
Coming up on RPW, we head back to see the Fonda Pro Stock feature event, and we'll look into the sprint car action at the Track of Champions.
Looking for outstanding service for your car, truck, or SUV? Speed's Garage is a family-run business providing the highest quality of auto care. From routine maintenance, brakes, engine, body, or paint work, you can trust the professionals at Speed's Garage. Speed's Garage has all the auto service you need, plus full towing for any vehicle. For championship service, go to Speed's Garage in Mellonville.
Performance, quality, service. That's DMC Racing Products. Hundreds of name brand parts, competitive prices. That's DMC. DMC Racing Products, race to win.
If you're like me, your to-do list never ends. But with just one phone call, I protect my home, family, pets, and yard all year round. With Northeast Pest Control's Premier Home Protection Program, I don't have to worry about bugs and pests, and I don't have to worry about harsh chemicals either. Now how about that want to-do list? Thanks, Northeast Pest Control.
Ants, termites, mice, or bees, call today for your free estimate.
With Northeast Pest Control, we guarantee you'll live pest-free.
Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly as the Dirt Car Pro Stock Series. Also in action last Saturday night out at the Track of Champions as Jay Casey going to bring the field to the green as it rocked them up through turn number 1 and 2. The 7 of Rob Getman on the move early. Here's Jocelyn Waugh and the 9 of Shane Henderson duking it out for position as they look to work their way up to the top 5. As now Yetman going to work his way around the outside of Ivan Joslin for the number 1 spot off at turn number 2. He'd be your new race leader as Jay Casey gets a little out of shape coming off at turn number 4 as he give up a number of positions coming down the front straightaway here in the early going. 2016 champion Kenny Gates working it up on the inside lane as Shane Henderson going to make it 3 wide between him and Joslin down the back straightaway. As now Chucky Dumbluski and Robbie Speed start to work their way up through the field, and that's Nick Stone on the inside. There's no number there, but I can tell by the body that that's the 27 machine. Meanwhile, Gates going to work his way up into the number 2 spot as he tries to pedal back down underneath the 53B of Broderson through turn number 3 and 4. There's Gates nosing out ahead. He'd look to set his sights on Rob Yetman as the track continues to slicken up. The Wild Twing, Frank Twing, working it around the outside as A.J. Walter's going to have trouble down the back straightaway, as that would bring out the yellow with a left front flat tire. Off of the restart, Yetman back out the front, 3-wide battle as here comes Crazy Kenny Martin trying to work his way up through the field. Dean Charbonneau in there as well, Jim Normoyle as they try to fight their way up. And meanwhile, Robbie Speed going to continue to pick a couple cars off down the front straightaway. He now sitting third as the caution will come out for Devin Kamajay and Jim Normoyle. Off of the restart, Yetman goes back to the inside, but here comes the man with speed in his name. Robbie Speed up there in the number 3 spot as Kenny Gates tries to battle out on the outside for the number 1 position, but Rob Yetman staying in his comfort zone as he rides up into turn number 1 and 2. He would maintain the race lead as time started to run out. Speed working his way up on the inside, looking to get by Kenny Gates for that number 2 position as they would continue to fight their way through, as Dean Charbonneau still trying to make his way up as he sits in the top 10 in dirt car points. And as that happens, here comes the 24 as Speed past Gates for the number 2 spot. Robbie Speed starting to bear down on the 7 of Rob Yetman, but he would have to come out of his comfort zone and go high if he wanted to get by him. He'd chase him down to within 3 car lengths or so, but Yetman going to see the checkered flag as for the 10th time in Dirt Car Pro Stock Tour history, Yetman picks up the victory. That would be his first tour win in 2016. Speed would have to settle for second. Kenny Gates third, Shane Henderson fourth, and Nick Stone finishing fifth.
How tough do you think it will be running 300 laps on a 5/8 mile?
Well, we've run 200 lappers many times before. From what I understand, how we're pitting and whether we're live pitting, some of those things need to be determined yet. I'm not really sure. Maybe there's answers, but I don't know what they are. So those are the things I need to research, and I haven't really strategized on this race at all. So about all I have is a camping spot.
I don't think so. For me personally, I remember racing 300 laps at Middletown, running a 200 and then a 100 right after that, or a 100 and a 200 right after that back in the old tri-track 100 days. So I don't really think it's going to be a real issue. The only thing I worry about mostly is dust. I hate dust. If it isn't dusty and it's ruddy, that doesn't bother me. If it's really dusty and smooth, I hate it. So I'm hoping I'd rather have it a little ruddy.
It's going to depend on how the racetrack is. If it starts falling apart and getting rough and, beating us up, it's going to be a pretty tough racetrack. If it seals over and gets slippery and, we got to ride around with 300 laps, we can do it.
Well, it's a long amount of laps. Mileage-wise, I don't think it's any different than Syracuse, but it's the longest race any of us will ever run, in laps-wise. So it's going to be a whole new thing for everybody. I think there's going to be so many factors that go into that race between pit stops and keeping your car in one piece, and it's going to be an exciting event, and we're looking forward to it.
On the final night of racing at the Fonda Speedway, the Kramer Williamson Memorial Race for sprint cars were all set to go, and it was a good one as we check in and see how these Wing Warriors made it out. The Kramer Williamson Memorial, as you see a former Kramer Williamson car out there onto the speedway, as this would be 25 laps the distance. Green flag would come out as Jared Zimbardi would lead him up into turn number 1 and 2 with the lead for the first time, as Danny Barron already going to make a charge on the inside lane, looking to pick up a couple of positions as they work their way down into turn number 3 and 4. Chuck Ebing a little out of shape on the top side that time, as that's going to allow Corey Sparks to get by as they work their way down the back straightaway. The Cobra in a little bit more trouble. He powers up to the outside. You see him get out of shape, and that's going to allow Davey Frenick to power up on the backside. Here comes Barron now working with the 98 of Joey Tranka down into turn number 3 and 4 as they fight for position off the corner. Barron going to grab that spot away as he would now make his way up into the top 2. Yellow will come out of the speedway for the 98 of Joey Tranka as that would bring out the caution off of the restart. They power their way up off the corner as they make their way down the backstretch. A great restart. Mark Smith working his way up through the field. Meanwhile, Zimbardi trying to hold off Barron as they work their way up into turn number 1 and 2. Barron going to power around the outside lane as they work their way into turn number 3 and 4 as Danny Barron now going to the front as they work their way up off the corner. Mark Smith continuing to push his way up through the field. He'll get by Chuck Ebing for position up off of turn number 2. Then down the front straightaway, here comes Davey Frenick going to get by Jeff Cook for position now as he continues to work his way up as the caution will come out for Barron up in turn number 2. Off of the restart, check out the one Corey Sparks gets working it down to the inside lane. He'd be your new race leader as he battles with Justin Barker down the backstretch. but Sparks with the run he needs down into turn number 3 and 4, and Corey Sparks taking the lead away, and we still got 15 laps to go in this feature event. As Sparks continues to lead this one, cars starting to work their way back up as here comes Varon once again with Mark Smith right there on the outside lane. Meanwhile, car gets out of shape on the outside. That is the 39 of Justin Barger, as that would bring Yellow back out onto the speedway. A tough break for the driver of the 39 machine. Off of this restart, Davey Franek going to look to take advantage of this one. He'll move back into the number 2 spot, trying to find his way around the 1 of Corey Sparks. And Mark Smith working his way up into the top 3. Working his way around Zimbardi for position, as now Danny Varon continuing to work his way up, and Bobby Varon looking to get involved as well, as Davey Franek going to power around the outside of Corey Sparks for the race lead down the front straightaway, as he would be your new race leader with time running out. And you can bet there was no panic in this one as Davey Franek takes the Kramer Williamson Memorial. Corey Sparks would finish in second, Mark Smith with a strong run from the B main to third, Jared Zimbardi fourth, and Danny Varon would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Mark Mortensen picking up a win for the second straight week. Josh Coonrad with another win in the street stocks. Cruisers to Ken Hollenbeck and Don Greco with a win in the vintage modifieds.
Found a note with your name and a picture of us, even though it was framed and covered in dust. It's the map in my mind that sends me on my way. They say it's never too late to stop being afraid, and there is no one else here, so why should I wait? And in the blink of an eye, the past begins to fade. Let me see.
seconds mean everything. That's why, in here, we work so hard to shave them. When a second matters, science matters. Mobil 1, energy lives here.
Where is it that going green is going strong? Where trees are planted so emissions can be cut down. Where clean ethanol blend fuels race cars and waste oil never goes to waste. Where is it that the sun comes up and we put it to work, and the passionate fans are just as passionate about helping out? Where? Nowhere but NASCAR. Learn what small steps you can take to make a big difference at NASCAR.com/green.
If you are a tracker series that would like to be highlighted on Race Pro Weekly, email us at show@raceproweekly.com. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly as we take a look at some of the satellite shows you'll get to check out next week. It'll start off this Saturday night with the Outlaw 200 at the Fulton Speedway, which is always a great show with sail panels involved as well. Then things will move on Tuesday night down to the Utica Rome Speedway for a 360 sprint car open along with the Victoria 55 as part of the ROC Modified Series. Then on Wednesday night, things will move a little bit further west to the Weedsport Speedway for some 358 modified action, and then move back north to the Brewerton Speedway for some more 358 modified action. Of course, that being a Hurricane 100. Then things will go to the Fulton Speedway on Saturday night as the World of Outlaws return to the central New York area in what should be a great show as the final satellite event of the week. Here's the list of the full events that you can see throughout next week, and it is going to be a big one as we get ready for Super Dirt Week 45.
Stuart, we talked about this moment this week, what it would mean to win this race. Tell us about that race today and what you were thinking.
Just, a lot of things. We weren't very good at the beginning, and we came in and pitted, got fuel, and then looked, we were going to try to do like a super fuel mileage deal, and the car was just, it wasn't good with a full load of fuel. So we knew we needed to burn it off, but we knew we needed to make some better adjustments to have a fast car. So we came in and took tires and just made 4 or 5 key adjustments. Matty Hearn came down and worked with Eric Mack, my crew chief, for this race, and I'm just proud of Eric. He did a great job all week. I'm proud of all our crew, all these volunteers that came out, and we had a good time all week. We enjoyed ourselves, and we camped, and took it all in. We experienced everything from the guys, back at the ghetto when they put up the Pete Street Tavern. We were there Thursday night or Friday night. I can't remember which one, but it was just this is just an unbelievable experience, and I'm just so happy with the way everything turned out.
What were the odds that you'd make the pass for the lead and the win in the same spot you did 1 year ago?
I don't know. I didn't think that was going to happen, but I feel really bad for Matt. He works harder than probably anybody out here. He's a super great race car driver. He's an awesome mechanic, and he said he had an electrical problem there, and the thing was just breaking down on him. So it was nothing. I thought he was running out of fuel, but it wasn't even that. So he's a great competitor, a great guy to race with, and when I saw him slow down, we just tried to get by him as quick as we could, and that's how it worked out, I guess.
You're the final person to be standing on this victory stage. What does that mean to you?
Like I said, just even if we didn't win today, we were just happy to be here and experience it and be part of this event. And we're really looking forward to next year's event. These guys at World Racing Group, Brian Carter and Deary and Mike Perotti, the whole group, they're very, very smart. They're great marketers, and to market this event as good as they did, to pack the place was some people might say that's an easy job. It's a very tremendously hard job. And we worked with the guys all week long, and they just did a great job. So, going forward, the sky's the limit. We're excited to go to the World Finals. Look at the deal they do there, and I'm trying not to pump tires too much, but they're just great guys to race for. They really are.
Take us back through that final restart with about a lap or so to go. What was going through your mind?
We had 3-4 really good restarts right in a row, and the holes were getting deeper into one, and that was really my main concern. I I knew it was near enough in 3 that I didn't think anyone was going to roll around me, even if they had a pretty good run on me. But the cars were getting pretty upset if you hit their holes wrong in 1 and 2, and I just wanted to make sure we got through 1 and 2 clean and tried to get a little bit of a gap. And obviously I knew Billy was coming. I think after a couple laps with some tire heat, we were able to kind of maintain. So I didn't necessarily want the yellow with a little bit of buffer we had, but I've been a lot more nervous in that position than I was tonight. I thought the car was great, and it was just fun to drive. The guys did a great job, and obviously to do it in the mud bus is pretty cool. It's been getting a lot of attention. It's been a lot of fun.
We came down the front stretch here, and we went. He had gotten underneath me going into 3, maybe with 2 to go, and then I just hung it on the outside going down into 1 here, and it actually stuck better than I thought it was gonna. And I had a lap car down there too, so that slowed him a bit, and that was all I needed. Don't want to see it end, but this is it.
We came from 10th. Track position was huge today. The track's kind of 1 lane, so we didn't really have an outside group to work with. We run the bottom only. The car was awesome. I really couldn't ask for much more.
You've had a lot of success here at the Moody Mile in the Sportsman and in the Pro Stock. It's got to be bittersweet for this to be the last race.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. We've had a ton of success here. Last 5 years, been on fire here. Just had a lot of circumstance stuff. We've won 3 in a row. I can't be disappointed. I tell you, you might be able to get a little bit better racing in another facility, but you're not going to replace the atmosphere and the fans that come here. It's just something about being here makes it special, and you're not going to be able to replace that with another place.
2016 is going to be awesome, because now it's time to look forward through that windshield, and we're going to close the book on this, or close this chapter and start a whole new one. So I'm really excited. This was a great way to send this old girl off in its fitting fashion. A big crowd and a great race.
Stuart Friesen talked in Victory Lane about how well you and your staff marketed this event. Was it as successful as you thought it could be?
Well, I'm very happy with how everything turned out. It could always be a little bit better, but I'm very pleased. And we had a great staff. Not a real big staff, but we got a great staff. Jeff Hockman did a great job of putting this thing together. It just made us all look really good.
It's now time for this week's NISCA Performer of the Week, and with his Super Dirt Car Series win out at the Fonda Speedway, it goes to the driver of the 98H of Jimmy Phelps. Phelps is now eligible for the Performer of the Year award given out at the end of the year. The folks of Race Pro Weekly would like to take this time to thank one of the guys who we cannot do this show without. Happy birthday, Bobco. Hope everything's going well, and we look forward to working with you in the future. That's all for this week's show. For the latest news, results, and photos, check out Race Pro Weekly online at www.raceproweekly.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So for myself, Bobby Chalmers, Fast Eddie, Scott Morlock, Amber Chalmers, and everyone that helps put Race Pro Weekly together, thank you for watching this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.